hour at 9 a.m. This is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM and 92.7. We've had an incredible morning so far, and as always, we're so grateful that you could lend us your time. Now, Sunday is World Poetry Day, as Alfred said earlier, and we're celebrating it today because on Sunday, of course, we won't be here. And we thought, what a better way than to kickstart the weekend talking about poetry. Now, I'm joined in studio by Albert Tete. Good morning to you, Albert. Now, Albert is a prolific writer, spoken word minister, and founder of PAL Foundation and NCS Quiz. I'd like to say that Albert is a friend to the show. Good morning to you this morning. Happy World Poetry Day to you. Well, in advance because it's on Sunday. I'm also joined in studio by Dr. Wale. Forgive me if I don't say this right. I'm going to have a good stab at it. Okediran.
Correct.
Thank you. I'm a good student. Dr. Wale Okediran, Secretary General of Power. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
And again, happy World Poetry Day in advance.
Thank you.
Now, just this morning, we saw in the Finder newspaper, acknowledge our work, Ghanaian poets plead. And I'll just, read a little bit of this article to set the tone. Now, poets in Ghana are throwing light on issues such as sexual harassment, mental health, corruption, drug abuse, and many more. However, the needed attention they require is readily not available. Now, poetry as an art form has undergone several phases of evolution, with pre-colonial to colonial and then post-colonial eras in most African countries. Now, in Ghana, when you talk about poetry, you can't leave out the likes of Kofi Ngidoho, Ifwa Sutherland, Kofi Awono, Ama Ata Edu, amongst others who talk about so many different themes, important themes. But much like the rest of the creative sector in Ghana, poetry is fast becoming a forgotten art. Is that true?
Very true.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Oh, there was no hesitation there. And get closer to the mic for me, please, gentlemen. I think, yes. Yeah, there we go. You say very true.
Yeah, very, very.
Well, why is that?
Maybe this is paying respect to my boss, so he can start.
Sure thing. Doc, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Albert. Yeah, that assertion is very true. Unfortunately, it's not peculiar to Ghana alone.
Okay.
Because people believe generally that it's so easy to write poetry, that anybody can be a poet, which is not right.
Oh, it's not true at all.
It's not true. So people sometimes look down on poetry, even publishers. Some publishers will tell you that, look, we take all genres of literature except poetry. And more importantly is the fact that the world economy, recession, COVID-19 pandemic has shrunken the economical space. And many publishers are trying to shy away from bringing out new things. But having said that, I think what the young people are telling us is that they need attention. And this is one of the things that my organization, the Pan-African Writers Association, has been doing all over the African continent. We engaging young writers in various ways, giving them voices to express themselves, and also looking for publishing avenues for them. Because like you rightly said from the write-up, when you talk of poets in Ghana, your mind will go to the first generation poets, Kofi Awono,
for Sutherland,
Okai and Co.
Yeah.
Then you start wondering, where are they, apart from Albert and a few other people who are trying to struggle, there seems to be a very wide gap between the old ones and the young ones. And I think it's our duty, this is a call to action, that our young ones need attention.
The young ones need attention. And that's a great point that you make, Doc, because, of course, when we started the introduction, we mentioned all the greats of old, times gone by, and no real mention of, the young ones who have taken up the mantle. Albert, how do we encourage the younger generation to get involved with poetry? Now, again, World Poetry Day is on Sunday, a day to encourage, writing, reading, being creative, and self-expression. How do we encourage younger people to get involved?
I think first of all, it should be the agencies or organizations responsible for the upliftment of the creative art aspect of Ghana. Something like on Sunday, so by this time we should have a roadmap towards World Poetry Day celebration, where avenues are made available to the younger poets in the society, not only to have performances or writing and presentations and all that. There should be actually sessions where they can also relate with the older ones in the system, so they can learn from experience how to go about the whole scope and how they were able to continue writing and making significant impact in society. Just as Doc mentioned, everyone puts words together in some sort of to me I say in everyday life we are all poets, in the sense that you can make statements that basically it can on the basic level it can rhyme and all that, it can make sense, have a linguistic pattern that it follows. So if not people who are skilled in the art, who are writing to make the art suitable, to make the art appealing to everyone, when everyone puts anything out and terms it as they are poets, that's why people tend not to appreciate the works out there. So, and the few that are actually making the poetry stand in the society as younger people are also not getting the avenue. So just as you mentioned, it would be great if the media houses will also make slots for poets in the society, in the country, just as we have slots for musicians and all that.
Yeah.
There should be a solid platform to actually accommodate these young arts and these young talents in the society. Because way back we used to study poetry in school, and I think it's still on, and we have selected poems. I am a writer of poems in native languages, various native languages, but you can ask, how many native languages have they published, poetry in native languages have they published that are being studied in our respective schools? It is not done. So meaning the opportunity isn't there, and the restructuring or resurfacing of new poetry, as in revising the curriculum so that new ones can fit in, is not there.
Yeah.
So I think it's the respect for younger people as well who are in the art field.
I agree with that, and I for one know that poetry is not something you can just wake up and everybody can write poetry. I studied English literature in high school, and it is complex. You study the language, the rhyme, the metaphors, the message behind it, the themes. There is so much to explore. I think if people were aware of the power and the potency of poetry, we would take it more seriously. But Doc, I want to come to you now. As you mentioned, this issue of the creative arts not always being a top priority cuts across many African countries, especially here in Ghana and our neighboring countries, I'm sure. What do you think has contributed to this low appetite for poetry and this issue where we're faced with it not being a priority?
I think the first thing is that Africa generally, we have a very poor reading culture. Yeah, the reading culture is poor, and people generally don't want to read unless they are studying for an examination. For example, those of you who have traveled abroad, in the bus or in the train, while the train is in motion, you see many of the passengers reading.
Definitely.
Newspapers or novels. On the other hand, in African countries, when you're in the bus, what you see is either a jester or a medicine dealer who is trying to sell something to you.
Very true, Doc.
Yeah. So, and then again, we need to find a way of bringing our leaders into literary scene. I would have loved a case like on Sunday, if our president would come on television or gather some children together and read from a book of poetry to the whole nation. Or some of our ministers.
That would be truly exciting.
Yes, our ministers or some of our MPs go to their constituency and read. So when people realize that, come and see our leaders reading, then they will be happy to get involved. So our reading culture is poor, and we need to set a pace. And then I'm somebody who believes in starting from home. Our parents are very we are very key in this issue of poor reading culture. As early as possible, parents should introduce their children to reading.
Very
They
important.
should not wait until teachers come. At home, they should make sure their children read newspapers. They read, instead of giving them toys for birthdays, they should buy them books.
Yeah.
We should start. Charity should start at home.
And there are so many great books and great novels to choose from. And Doc, you make a very important point about the reading culture that we have. I think most people started out reading a lot as children, but with the advent of things like the mobile phones and the tablets and the television, we've lost that art. We've lost the love for reading completely, and it is quite a shame. Time now in studio, some 9 minutes to the top of the hour. We're talking about World Poetry Day, which takes off on Sunday, 21st March, but we're celebrating it today. I have in studio Dr. Wale Okediran. He is Secretary General of the Pan-African Writers Association, Power. I'm also joined by Albert Tete. He's a prolific writer, spoken word minister, and founder of PAL Foundation and NCS Quiz. I'm sure, towards the end, Albert, you probably have something for us that we can sing. You always have something for us that we can. You have to. You have to. But remember also, it is the month of March. It is still Ghana month. And here, I think we have, Media Journal as a whole, taken it upon ourselves to promote poetry, especially with our competitions such as Talented Kids. We have poets who have come out of that competition and who are now thriving. We feature them, for different programs. So we'll take a little listen to one of the winners, Nana AK, talking a little bit about Ghana's history to independence.
Me and hear some history about Ghana. Ghana and our friends the Gold Coast. English ablafo anana eshayenso. By then, Queen Elizabeth was controlling Gold Coast and our friends in Ghana. So that time we were using money called pounds. The merchi, let's see about some nibi. Upon movie and our friend who say Pa Grant, who comes from Nzima Kotoko, Yanu ma own couple, now you know, Ufa Musu Uja, where Yasrade. And Oko Fa Onimidefo Kwame Nkrumah, who was living in United Kingdom, and Obeji Omegana for Inkiasumu. 1957, 6th March, and a Ghana Yafa Hundie. Now in some more Sergeant Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Kwame Chiapem, a branch look at our kind minister. Ghana, our lovely country, is free forever. Free, freedom now. Na Ebasan, when it J, more San Bonsra. Right.
It's your mentor. And do we even need mentorship? Yeah. On Sunday, yeah, Ochasano, on the nature Achia. Na onam diado. Na ahuma home so. I have mine. And do you have yours? Good mentors do not take their roles lightly. They feel invested in the success of their mentee. Yeah, my mentor is very knowledgeable.
And those were two short performances there that we played, Nana AK and Nakiat, previous winners of our Media Journal or TV3 competition, Talented Kids. And it's very inspiring, isn't it, to, listen to the young ones take up the mantle and be interested in poetry. So maybe all is not quite lost as yet. And Doc, I want to come back to you again. How important is poetry for preserving our history and making sure that we don't lose our culture?
Yeah, this is very important, particularly in Africa, where we believe that oral literature is actually our tradition. In the olden days, the elderly ones would gather the children together and read to them or tell them stories, folklore from history.
Yeah.
And this has continued till now in many places. So for us in Africa, oral literature, which is poetry, is very important in preserving our history. The other form of poetry which we sometimes overlook is music.
Yeah.
Because poetry can be formed into music. In fact, many of our beautiful musics are poetic in nature. And as such, when people set poetry into music, people they remember that kind of poetry more importantly than the ones that are written. And then we also believe that in oral poetry, in traditional way, it can be used in various forms. For example, what they call this calling people's family genealogy, when we want to be praised, or when the people want to go for ceremonies, funerals, marriages, you find some elderly people coming around to talk about that tradition or that family in a poetic way. So for Africans, we are intricately linked with poetry, and that is why we should be able to find a way of passing this tradition to our children. You mentioned quite rightly that because of the advent of the internet, DSTV, and maybe I should say this too, Premier Soccer. Arsenal versus, so many people are getting distracted.
Yes.
Our young ones, they prefer to go and watch all that stuff. So, and that is why you have to find a way to bring them back.
Bring it back.
Yes.
I agree with you, Doc. Now, Albert, we don't have too much time to go. I know that you have something short for us to see us, out of 3FM Sunrise this morning. Something for World Poetry Day. A quick one for you. Please take us away.
All right. So they told us that the future lies in our hands. So we grew up looking into this future of ours with the seedlings that came forth from the basic seeds that we've sown. Yet we've not still discovered any arable lands to permanently plant our dreams in order to yield the bountiful harvest and enjoy the fruits that came thereof. So then, how could we be proud of our forefathers if our fathers keep telling us that we've been planted by rivers, yet our roots keep searching for water afar? For how long would we keep searching? Deliberately reaching out to foreign zones for nutrients to grow up, yet we've not still seen any signs of maturity. Is it that all these years we've been indirectly or directly fed by these very people? Because this is sickening, it's really terrifying, because it's highly unbelievable and terrifying to be fed with the knowledge of being planted by rivers, yet our roots keep searching for water from foreign zones. Are our rivers dead? Are the rivers in our own lands dead? Fathers, please answer us. We sincerely want to know this, because we want to know if truly our rivers are dead, or it's our leaders who reside by the banks of these rivers who are causing mayhem. Man them, I don't even understand them, but me never pray. So if we pray, say fire go bend them. Listen, leaders would demand some sort of respect and answers to these questions. Fathers, please answer us. Fathers, help us to go further beyond these zones of distraction, because these foreign zones are foreign zones of distraction. So spare us the sweet talks and promises and give us the true manuals to this life. For we are ready to read the instructions thereof. These instructions are our life. Do not fold your arms and watch us to go beyond repairs. Wipe our tears, refresh our thoughts, feed our minds and heal our wounds, kill our fears, erase our faults, check our woods and secure the woods. He who cares preserves with salts. Water us now to supply the future foods. Grant us access and space to blossom, because we have severally seen the trees that come from the foreign zones who resorted to our very own land, greedily gulping down our waters down their throats, and they are growing excellently thereby. So what at all caused our stunted growth, leaders? Can you tell us? You see, this is sickening. This is actually hurting. This is disheartening. People are questioning. We are petitioning. Fellow Ghanaians, are you hearing? Fathers, help us to drink with ease from these very rivers that we've been planted by. The very rivers of our own land that contains the best nutrients for our own flourishing. The rivers of our own home, for there is absolutely no place like home. Let us proudly drink of our own home, sweet home.
Home, sweet home.
May look in a different style.
Wow.
That looking beyond today would actually not be sorrowful. We believe that there will surely come a day of complete liberation. So let us stay prayerful, 100% hopeful. Fellow Ghanaians, faith have, hope day. Thank you.
Fellow Ghanaians, faith up, hope day. Thank you for that one, Albert. Thank you. Thank you so much. And that was a poem by Albert Tete, prolific writer, spoken word, friend of the 3FM Sunrise Show. We were also joined by Dr. Wale Okediran, Secretary General of the Pan-African Writers Association. Gentlemen, a real pleasure to chat with you this morning. I hope we can do this again because there's so much more to discuss. There is a lot to sink our teeth into. I think post-Sunday, we must get together and talk some more. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Time now in studio, exactly 9 a.m. It is the end of the 3FM Sunrise Show on 3FM 92.7. As always, we're truly grateful that you could make time for us and join us. My name is Helen Apia Ampofo. On behalf of the rest of the team, again, thank you so much. On Monday, we're back again. We're back at it with 3FM Sunrise all the way from 5:55 to 10 a.m. in the morning. Don't miss out. Don't miss it. Happy Poetry Day in advance. Love and light to you all.